Alright, hey guys, Pax, welcome back to another Pokemon Pocket video. In this video, we're going to be going over all the new trainer cards from Extradimensional Crisis. In this booster pack, we get the release of a lot of very meta cards, not just Ultra Beast cards, but several cards that I can very much see affecting this meta and future metas to come. Anyways, yeah, introduction out of the way, let's get right into the video. In this pack, there are 7 trainer cards, and we're pretty much just going to be ranking this in this tier list. S, of course, being the best, D being the absolute worst. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. So yeah, we're just going to go down this list right here. So the first card we're going to be talking about is Beastwall. There's a few trainer cards in this pack that are very much Beast, Ultra Beast supports, and this is one of them right here, Beastwall. You can only use this card only if your opponent hasn't gotten any points. Essentially an ABOMAN, but for Beast. Now, if you look at ABOMAN right here, minus 20 specifically to Metal. This one affects Ultra Beast, does negative 20 damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. You ideally want to play this very early in the game. With that being said, all it really does is do minus 20 damage, and yeah, that could help you out very much in the early game. But at the same time, compared to all the other trainer cards, in my opinion, this is one of the worst. You can still see some viability, but in my opinion, when it comes to Ultra Beast supports, this is definitely the worst. I feel like all the other cards are a lot better. You can still see some usage, but yeah, I feel like for the meta Ultra Beast decks, you won't really see this used at all. Because currently, there's a lot of scenarios where offensive damage is a lot more viable than defensive. And yeah, this is definitely a defensive card. With that being said, I'm going to put it C tier. Next card, oh yes, this card is very much extremely meta. I feel like this card is hands down one of the most meta cards in this this pack that came out. Repel. Yeah, Repel, basically switch out your opponent's active basic Pokemon to the bench. Your opponent chooses the new active Pokemon. And if this looks very familiar, it is very similar to Sabrina. But you got to keep in mind, Sabrina, yeah, for Sabrina, you can switch out any active Pokemon. It doesn't have to be, whether it's a basic stage 1 or stage 2, it doesn't really matter. You can just switch. And of course, your opponent chooses that Pokemon. However, for Repel, it only works on basic. So you can see a lot of usage with this card. More in the early game, but I can still see also in late game, especially if you're going against a deck that prioritizes on basic Pokemon, because yeah, with this meta, especially with Ultra Beasts, all the Ultra Beasts, they're all basic Pokemon. Keep that in mind. So you can very much, if you're going against an Ultra Beast deck, you can very much use this in the late game. But yeah, overall, like if you're going against stage 1, stage 2s, you can use this card early game to just mess them up, especially if your opponent doesn't have an X speed. Doing this could set them back 1 turn. But the biggest thing about this card is that it's an item. Yeah. It's an item, so early game, you want to prioritize usually, like in the early game, you usually want to get as many cards as possible, kind of using like Professor's Research and stuff like that. And with that being said, you could Repel, messing up your opponent, doing kind of like a mini Sabrina, as well as Professor Researching. If you get a bad hand, you could Iono. Yeah, you could pair this with a supporter card, which is why, in my opinion, it is S tier because of that. This card being an item makes it worth it. Like, in my opinion, if it's a supporter card, then it really serves no purpose. If it's a supporter, yeah, you might as well run Sabrina. But given that it is an item, this card has a lot of value. Because yeah, if you guys don't know, I mean, yeah, you can use as many item cards during your turn as you want. So yeah, this card already has a lot of synergy with basically a lot of decks. So like yeah, it's an item card, so it really won't hinder you that much to run. And yeah, with that being said, S tier. Next card is Beastite. Okay, yeah, this guy, again, another Ultra Beast support. Let's look at Beastite right here. So Beastite, attacks used by the Ultra Beast this card is attached to, do plus 10 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon for each point you have gotten. Meaning that if you have 1 point, you do plus 10. And you can do a maximum of 20 damage if you acquire 2 points. As an Ultra Beast support, I feel like it is somewhat necessary. Like you can see a lot of usage late game as well. Like this is definitely a mid to late game card. And with that being said, if you look at Ultra Beasts, like let's just look at, I mean, most of them, like if you look at Guzzlord only does 120 damage. Like, yeah, 30 damage, 120. With Grindcore, if you have 2 points, you can do 50, which is still pretty good, especially with Guzzlord being super tanky. But keep in mind, late game, if you do Beastite, you are doing 140 damage. And if you want to compare this to like something like very meta, like Giratina late game does 130, and you take 20 damage recoil, which could hinder your game. That could lose you the game, that 20 damage recoil. Whereas for Guzzlord, yeah, you are not taking any recoil whatsoever. So pairing Beastite with this, and if you want to pair this with Darkrai, because yeah, I made a Guzzlord Darkrai deck, you're doing 160 damage. When Beastite is doing 20 damage as well as Darkrai's passive, on top with this, yeah, 160 damage. So a lot of potential, very fun in my opinion as a Poke tool. I really like how they're adding more Poke tools in this game. Very much well deserved, because I feel like the future of the meta is definitely Poke tools. Like, yeah, especially with Guzma. I mean, there is Guzma, granted, like Guzma could hinder you, but overall the potential for Poke tools to like help you a lot in the game is pretty much limitless. Like they can very much add a lot of very interesting cards with interesting effects. But yeah, for that, I would put Beastite A tier, because again, I mean, it is a good card specifically for Ultra Beasts. However, it's only for Ultra Beasts. And given that, I mean, Ultra Beast is kind of a, if you want to see it as kind of like a fad, it kind of is. Like in the future, like they might get more supports, sure, but it's not going to be as meta as like a water support, like a specific type support like Irida or Erica. Like it's not going to be like that. In my opinion, Ultra Beasts are very similar to the Arceus meta, where like Arceus gets like a Carnivine link and stuff like that. I feel like it has potential to be very dated, especially when power creep comes. And yeah, with that being said, A tier. Next card, I'm definitely putting S tier for now. Like, yeah, this card, again, this card right here, like these two cards, Beastite specifically supports Ultra Beast Pokemon, whereas Electrical Cord right here supports Lightning Pokemon overall. And Lightning definitely needed support. I feel like Lightning as like an archetype has been kind of struggling compared to like freaking Water has so many supports, freaking Grass got a support last pack with Leaf Cape. Yeah, dude, this Lightning has been kind of struggling, and this is very much expected, very much deserved. So if you guys don't know Electrical Cord, this Poketool, if the Lightning Pokemon this card is attached to is an active spot and is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, move 2 Lightning Energy from that Pokemon and attach 1 energy each to 2 of your bench Pokemon. Now, if you look at Manaphy, that's essentially Manaphy's ability right here, but as a Poketool. So in other words, to simplify this even further, when your active Pokemon dies, this card is activated and is treated as a Manaphy ability. And yeah, this is pretty good because yeah, do we have like cards like Tapu Koko, a lot of 3 energy support cards, a lot of Lightning Pokemon that require 3 energy. And I feel like you get the most value with this card with Pokemon that are around the 2 to 3 energy range, because yeah, Macbolt right here requires 2, so in a couple of turns you could get him fairly built, as well as Plasma Hurricane. I mean, pretty good support. But if you look at other cards like Pikachu EX, like the one that came out in Shining Revelry, also gets buffed by this card, because if you look over here, one of these, I think it's this guy, yeah, 3 energy, and you can do Thunderbolt, pretty good. And when it comes to 2 energy cards, Oricorio, so you would feed Oricorio 1, sub him in, and then your next turn he's fully built. So yeah, again, Oricorio still very meta, especially with the dominance of EXs, especially basic EXs. Yeah, this guy will be super dominant. And yeah, with that being said, Electrical Cord is pretty nice. The only downside is that it can be easily countered with a Guzma. I feel like when it comes to Guzma, you're getting a lot of value canceling this. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Guzma, discard all Poketools attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon. So yeah, pretty much negating that, and that could hinder your opponent a lot if they're building for that strategy, like their active Pokemon dying to activate Electrical Cord. And yeah, if your opponent Guzmas, you basically get no value at all. For now, this is one of the best electrical supports in my opinion. Like I can't really think of a trainer card that's like electric support. Pachirisu was kind of a support, but it's a Pokemon. This Pachirisu, this one right here, pretty interesting support, but at the same time, I'm very much, yeah, Lightning definitely needs supporter cards, like trainers, items, they very much need those cards to be more viable compared to other color archetypes. And yeah, with that being said, very much appreciated. Next card, Lusamine. Okay, so yeah, Lusamine, hands down, kind of would put S tier. Screw it, I'm gonna put S tier because I feel like Lusamine is definitely a must run, at least when it comes to Ultra Beast. Like Beastite and Beast Wall, they're pretty good, but you can definitely still run an Ultra Beast deck without that. However, Lusamine, you get so much value with this card that I feel like it is a must run. It's basically, in my opinion, the Misty equivalent to Ultra Beast meta, because yeah, you definitely want to have this in your deck. Definitely 2 copies. But yeah, if you guys don't know, Lusamine right here, you can only use this card if your opponent has gotten at least 1 point. Choose one of your Ultra Beasts, attach 2 energy from your discard pile to that Pokemon. So yeah, instantly, let's look at all the Ultra Beasts right here. This card has a lot of synergy because yeah, getting 2 energy is a huge deal because yeah, keep in mind, okay, let's look at these cards. So yeah, we have cards like Kartana that don't really need that much energy, like there are Ultra Beasts. However, we do have Blaze Fallon doing 130 damage, a lot. So yeah, if you Lusamine a Blaze Fallon and then feed 1 energy your next turn, you're doing 130 damage. There's other cards like Xurkitree, requires 3 energy. You could do the exact same thing. Yeah, just going down the list, there's a lot of 3 energy Ultra Beasts. Then Lego gets fully built, so that's pretty good. Guzzlord, yeah, you can do Grindcore, and in a couple of turns, you can do Tyrannical Hole, Naganadel, 1 energy, but yeah, Stakataka, fully built. Yeah, this is very nice. Celesteela, mostly a support card, but also fully built as well. So I feel like, yeah, if you're ever going to run an Ultra Beast deck, you need to have her on your team. Because, yeah, you get so much value with her on your team that it is kind of crazy. A lot of synergy, and yeah, with that being said, definitely S tier. For the foreseeable future, I don't really see her being that meta unless they release more Ultra Beast cards. If they release a very broken Ultra Beast card in the future packs, yeah, you're still gonna be running her. So I can definitely see her as a must run just overall in the Ultra Beast meta. So yeah, that's why I put S tier. Next card, damn, Looker. damn. Looker, in my opinion, I used him a couple times in my deck showcases. Kind of cool the first time, but in the grand scheme of things, not really much usage, especially if you know your opponent's deck. Like usually, especially in high tier deck, like, yeah, this game requires a lot of knowledge. Like if your opponent's running a grass type, most likely running an Erica. If your opponent's running a stage 2 Pokemon, most likely running Lily. So with that being said, if you know, I guess for early game, this guy is pretty viable, like if you're getting still used to the game. However, towards the high ranks, yeah, this guy doesn't really serve much purpose. With that being said, D tier. Let's get a better look of him right here. So Looker, yep, just looking. Your opponent reveals all of the supported cards in their deck. And keep in mind, this doesn't reveal their hand. So they can very much have like a win condition supported card in their hand that you don't know of. Again, this card is not that good. Overall, D tier, because again, if you're like a very experienced player, you won't really get much value with this. Like if anything, this is kind of a Captain Obvious card. Like, oh, your opponent's running, like you would do this and you would see your opponent's, again, running a Lily in the stage 2, running Mars. Like no shit, yeah, they're going to be running those cards. But yeah, if anything, I guess with Mars, it kind of helps you out because not every deck runs Mars. But at the same time, I feel like you should be playing the game as if your opponent is gonna Mars you. This is a game, especially with trainer cards, is very much expect the unexpected. You kind of have to have that kind of mindset when playing this game. And yeah, with that being said, D tier. Next card, last card right here. I'm gonna put Gladion C tier. Because yeah, very specific support. I kind of like those cards. This kind of helps a little bit with the meta when it comes to Silvally and type Null. But yeah, if you look at Gladion right here, put one random type Null or Silvally from your deck into your hand. So it could help you out very much. I definitely will make a type Null / Silvally deck showcase. It'll either be the next video or the video after that. But yeah, type Null and Silvally, like if you look at Silvally, a lot of potential. I feel like this card, we'll see how meta this card will be, but very fun. Because yeah, you do Brave Buddies, requires 2 energy. If you played a supporter card from your hand this turn, this attack does 50 more damage. So yeah, if you do Professor's Research, attack, you do 100. Next turn, you could, I don't know, Mars, then you still do 100 damage. So yeah, I'm definitely making a 16 trainer Silvally type Null deck. That's going to be very fun. And again, I don't know how meta it will be, but regardless, it's going to be fun to use. Yeah, and yeah, with that being said, Gladion just kind of boosts your chances to get Silvally out, especially if you pair it with Pokeball, because yeah, if you're running a 16 trainer deck, specifically consisting of type Null and Silvally, if you Pokeball, then after doing that, if you Gladion, you are guaranteed a Silvally. So yeah, if you get very bad RNG, this card will be an amazing support. Yeah, with that being said, you know what, screw it, B tier. I'll put it B tier because I feel like it is still fairly good. For the meta, for Silvally and type Null as a support, it's always good to get draw support, like getting support to get a better chance to getting the cards that you need. So definitely still take it. B tier because again, for the grand scheme of things, like once power creep hits, unless they release like a very broken non-EX Silvally, I very much don't see it. If anything, they're gonna run like a very meta Silvally EX. But keep in mind, this only applies to non-EX Silvally. So yeah, if they release a Silvally EX, it won't affect it. A clear example of this is definitely Cynthia, because if you look at Cynthia right here, your Garchomp is getting buffed. However, this Cynthia doesn't affect EX Garchomp, because if it did, that would be pretty overpowered. Imagine doing like 100 damage. Yeah, just looking at Garchomp, imagine if your linear attack does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Yeah, especially with like rare candy, that's going to be insane. So yeah, with that being said, the Cynthia logic, with the Cynthia logic, Gladion won't affect Silvally EX at all. And yeah, the chances of them releasing a very broken Silvally or even type Null non-EX Pokemon is very unlikely. For now, very fun. You're going to see a lot of usage, but in a couple of months from now, unless you really like this deck, then it'll definitely be phased out. But yeah, that's the trainer rankings for Extradimensional Crisis. Hopefully you guys agree. If you guys don't agree, let me know in the comments below. But overall, I think this is kind of accurate. If you're curious what is the best trainer card out of all these cards, in my opinion, I think it's Repel. Definitely Repel, because again, Electrical Cord can still be countered by Guzma. And however, Repel, you can use this for any deck, any kind of deck you want, and you're going to get a bit of value with it, either early game or late game. Like, keep in mind, if you're going against like a Giratina EX / Darkrai EX deck, this card is essentially a Sabrina, but an item card. So that's pretty huge. But that's the deck showcase. Just wanted to get something out of my channel aside from just a quick video, aside from a deck showcase. But yeah, keep in mind, more deck showcases to come, as well as a weekly report next Saturday. I skipped this weekly report specifically because I mean, like, I kind of wanted to do it, but at the same time, it came out exactly right when the new pack came out, so I really don't think there's any purpose. If anything, it might be kind of misleading because I won't apply the new packs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I might do more tier list videos in the future as well, and yeah, with that being said, consider liking and subscribing because yeah, I really like making videos. And as a small time content creator, I very much want to keep on doing this for the foreseeable future. Really liking the game. Also thinking I'm streaming a lot more. My Twitch is in the description. It should be in the description. Yeah, trying to stream a lot more, just kind of it's forcing myself to play rank at this point because rank is pretty depressing. It could be very depressing. A lot of talking, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found it informative and a little bit entertaining as well. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.